it was incredibly windy. And so I told Dad, I said, I think that all this wind, they're getting out of the wind. So we need to get where we can look back at a ridge where they'd be on a ridge behind the wind. So, yeah, we're kind of creeping along and looking, and he says, hey, is that a deer up there? And I look up and I see a deer butt right in the road. I'm like, yes, it is. And it goes off in across the road and into some bushes. We're watching and it's raining. And we're watching and I'm like, man, it's probably just right in here. Like there's just some bushes and then the river and then the hillside. And so we're watching for that deer to go up the hillside. And then I thought, wait a minute. We're sitting here, we're watching this hillside. I noticed the thick bushes kind of go around and a little behind where we're at. And I thought, I'll bet that deer went down there. So I realized I'll walk up the way a little bit, just a little, because then it was kind of more open where you could look down the river and see what was back this way, to see the hillside this way if that deer went that way. So I go over there and I'm not seeing anything. I'm using my binoculars and the thought came to me, it's probably just a doe anyway. But if I can help it, I need to confirm, because maybe it's not. Across the way, there's some treetops and then the hillside. And just above the treetops, deer steps. I see a little bit of movement out of the corner of my eye. And it's a deer. And I'm like, whoa. And I bring up my binoculars just as the deer's head lifts up. And I see right between its ears. And I see antlers. I was like, oh, it's a buck. I just ripped the cover off my scope on my rifle. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm doing it, I hope my dad sees this. And I pull the gun up. Of course, I'm looking above brush and treetops and at an uphill angle. And so there's nothing that you can set the gun on. And so I'm just going to have to hold it like this and pray for a decent shot. Boom! And then I reload. And I don't see it with my eyes, so I pull up my binoculars to see, okay, is he there? What happened? And there's all these rocks falling and like a commotion. And my dad gets to me and he's like, did you get him? And I said, I don't know. And so I pointed it out to him where it was. And he says, how far was that? And I said, I don't know. I didn't even check. And he says, I bet it was about 100 yards. I pull it up, 98 yards. He's good. So that was pretty good. So we're waiting a little bit. We're not hearing anything, not seeing anything. And he says, now we got to go across the river. Raining pretty solid, and I just shot at a buck. Up there. Well, we're about to go across the river and see if we got him. The river was about twice as deep as I was hoping.
Oh, man.
So we looked at a couple different spots and we settled on one, and my dad's like, it's deeper than your boots. I said, well, I said, it's okay. I'm wearing wool socks, wool thermals, that will insulate me even if it's wet. And I said, plus I've got pure adrenaline running through me now. So I said, I'll be fine. And we both crossed the river, and of course it was like mid-thigh. I told you. And we kind of get up and we start climbing it. Oh, I'm realizing, oh my goodness.
Steep.
This is like steep.
Holy
so
cow.
I was worried about Dad's hip, and I was like, maybe we could keep along the river bottom, just on the edge, right? So we're making our way down there, and he's like, do you remember which two trees it was under?
Oh my goodness.
I said, well, it was either those two or those two, I think. And so we're going, and then we get there, and I remembered there was like a dirt and rock area under one of the trees that the deer was standing in beneath the tree. And so we got to where I could see that dirt rock area, and I was like, this is the spot. And so we're looking at it, and it's steep, and my dad's like, you're gonna have to go up there. Thought, you can stay here, I'll go up there and see if I can see any blood or anything, I'm getting ready to go up there, and I kind of go like this, and I see a dead deer, and I'm like, oh, there's a dead deer over there, like, like when you see one on the side of the road. And then, there's my deer. That's my deer. Oh, Dad, it's right there.
Nobody has to go up.
It's right there. Nobody has. He rolled down for us.
We got him. We got him.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, how many years has it been? How many years? I started hunting deer when I was 14. And I took a couple of years off, here and there. So it wasn't a full straight, but 22 years ago I started hunting deer, and this is the first one I finally got.
Yay!
And you got to remember that when you hunt, I shot at this critter, and I'm all excited. I've worked so hard for this, and in a moment, there it is, and I've got it. And at the same time, in a moment, a life is ended. And I'm just so grateful, because I feel like the deer knows who's hunting it, and it will decide if it will let them take it or not. And so I was just really grateful. A deer could think that I was worthy of it. And I thought, I really want to get a picture of my buck when I get one that looks respectful. And that is the picture I wanted. A picture that looked like me and this deer are buddies. I hope that I respected that deer enough. And I'm really grateful. So we were done and back to the truck and had to meet in the cooler. And Dad said, hey, we have enough time. You want to go fish for an hour? So I said, yeah, let's go fish for an hour. I did. I caught a 9-inch brown trout as well. It was a good morning.
Nice.
So we got some little white wrapped packages in the freezer now. I'm excited about it. And I'm going to fry up that heart later. I just appreciate everybody who's helped me get this deer. And I still have a cow elk tag.
Woohoo!